the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up today. Heavy with the guests. Thomas Gable, who was in charge of the Borgata in Atlantic City, on the show coming up in 30 minutes. He loves himself some college basketball. We'll get his thoughts on today's card, I should say, and some of the numbers that we're going to have on some of the marquee games tomorrow on the sport as well, the final regular season of the year for a lot of these conferences, and great guests lined up as well. Tweeted it out at Mitch Moss Radio earlier before the show started. We will get into what has happened so far today, Pauly, coming up in about 15 minutes, and set the scene for tonight, including something that is 11-0 in one conference tournament going back to last year. As a reminder, everything is available on the website at vsin.com/champweek for free. That goes until Selection Sunday. We highly encourage you to go check it out, give it a whirl, see what you think. If you've never been a VSiN Pro subscriber before, everything free this week. You get all the best bets from everybody on this network, 24/7 live video access, vsin.com/champweek. I wanted to run this by you because FanDuel is offering the odds to be the number one overall seed in the tournament. And Auburn is priced at minus 1,900. Duke earlier this morning was plus 950. They have since been cut down to 9-1. And Houston is at 60-1. Is there any way that the committee will fall for this? And I say fall for it with Duke, and I'll explain that coming up in a second. But where they would say, hey, look at this. They just ran through the ACC. They would have to win the ACC tournament and probably have Auburn lose right away, and that probably goes with a loss tomorrow against Alabama. Could they say, yep, you know what, Duke, they got to be the number one overall seed?
Yes, and head-to-head, too. Maybe they factor that in.
Does that factor in?
Maybe, yeah. That's the path. I don't think that's crazy.
So because Duke is number one in net rankings as we speak, Auburn's number two, quad one wins, not even close. Auburn has 15, right. Duke has 6.
Yep. Auburn can still tie the record with a win tomorrow.
Do you think 9-1 Duke number one overall seed is worth a sprinkle? I don't think Houston will get it.
No.
Even if they win out.
No.
Because I think these two teams will supersede the Cougars, in the committee's eyes anyway.
2 of the losses were the SEC teams in the non-conference as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Then they lost to the Aztecs. Yeah. I think it's worth pizza money. Yeah. The pass right there. Now, easier said than done. And Auburn's laying 7.5 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you see if they bounce back in the rivalry game, and we know what happened in the first meeting. But it has been chaos in the ACC going back. 4 straight years that 4 seed or worse has won it, and we know what happened with NC State. But I think they are laying too much tomorrow, though. I mean, this is everything for North Carolina.
I am very intrigued in North Carolina tomorrow.
It's 12.5.
That's the opening number.
Wow.
That's
too much.
Touch high. I mean, Duke's blasting every single team in sight,
right.
Not named Clemson.
Now, rivalry game, this is it. We hate each other. The Lucas thing could work in their favor, where it's that's another angle, too. I'll get to that in a second. But is it, okay, let's celebrate him. This is his final game. Let's win one for him. And then the fun starts afterwards, where it's just ridiculous with the calendar that you lose your top assistant who has to take over at Miami. And you can't do 2 jobs at the same time, and the portal's March 24th.
The timing.
So that's,
come on.
If he's your defensive guru and they love him, you're exactly right. So, but that's something after they play North Carolina. But in any event, I mean, Carolina is the last team out, according to Lenardi. This is everything for them, and they got buried in the first game. So, yes, worth pizza money. A little bit of intrigue there. Don't think it'll cash, but if you want to give me something like that, why? Auburn can't lose. That can happen. Sure.
North Carolina's the last team out. They're currently minus 115 to make the tournament.
Mm-hmm. First 4 out. North Carolina, you're going to like this, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska. Last 4 in. San Diego State, Indiana, Boise, and Xavier.
Whoa, okay. I like that. That's a good update.
Bad, yes.
And I'll tell you, so Indiana's minus 220. I don't know if I want to lay that number, even though Lenardi has them last 4 in. Ohio State's minus 185.
Their last 4 buys. So they're comfortably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you take a shot on either Oklahoma or Texas at plus 160 or plus 210 respectively to get in?
No. I agree with Pat Forty, who's on Monday. They've showed you time and time again who they are, right?
I'd rather rather than even betting that, just bet them to win a game outright on the money line.
Better than right.
And I know they play each other tomorrow, but
and I think this is big too, that the committee they owe us a redo and a mulligan for the debacle last year. It goes back to, we're talking about Oklahoma and Texas, although Oklahoma has been competitive. Virginia down the stretch was terrible, and we're getting blown out on a regular basis.
That's right.
So what did they do? They put them in the play-in, and they got blown out and embarrassed and had a horrendous performance against an average Colorado State team. So I think that's there where they blew it. It should have been Indiana State, should have been St. John's. That's something can also factor in where you come in, you can't lose 6 of your last 8, and you've been buried in some of those games. That's Texas. Oklahoma continues to lose. I like your angle better, though.
Yeah,
it's not enough there. Return.
Some really good games tomorrow, marquee games in the power conferences. Again, last weekend of the regular season for those. And you did mention Auburn's actually up to 8.5. The total is 178.5 against Alabama. You slid in Duke minus 12.5 against North Carolina. Kentucky plays at Missouri. Mizzou is a 5.5 point favorite, total 170.5. Is that too many points?
I don't think the total's high enough.
I can see, and by the way, like Kentucky on the road, I don't know.
Sure.
I can see Missouri getting whatever they want in that game.
How about Kansas, only 2.5 at home to Arizona?
Oh, you said only?
Yeah? What do you think?
Oh, I can't touch Kansas with a 10-foot pole. You like them?
I'm surprised how low the spread is, considering they're a different team at home. But that's also back to how Arizona's power rated so high. And BYU is up to a 7 seed. I think they'll be better than that. But they've won 7 in a row, and the Holy War. Remember, Utah fired their coach. Utah catching 13.5. In a rivalry game like that, even though BYU's been outstanding, I think that's too much.
How is, again, you're saying that based on Lenardi's bracketology?
Yeah.
How on earth is BYU a 7 seed?
Can't be.
Come on.
No.
Let's get realistic here. They should be, a 5 is much more realistic than a 7.
Yeah.
But he's not the only one. Others have him kind of in that same range. I think Bracket Matrix might overall, when you look at 115 different people who do this, the average seed is below a 6. So the 7, I think, is going to be the outlier there. But man, oh man, what do they have to do to get some more recognition here? The resume looks fantastic at this point.
Yes, it does.
And the recent play is great.
That's right. I think you're going to be right, and others are going to be right, that it's going to be more than a 5 than a 7. But getting the double bye in the quarters helps in the Big 12 tournament. Then you're probably going to play Iowa State again. Where are you at with Marquette?
I don't like them.
That starts today against. Remember, they were top 10.
I know.
But it goes back to, I'll take Patino here and the run that St. John's is on. And now Marquette just been stumbling around for 2 months.
I think Marquette is a fine basketball team, and that's all I can say about them. I don't trust them to make it. And by the way, like I will almost, well, it depends on the draw, obviously. I would be mildly surprised if Marquette even makes the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So anything beyond that, then I'm getting into like shocking territory to me. Elite 8, I don't think it's going to be in the cards. I think they're okay. That's pretty much it for them. So this is, I think, maybe the first time since we've been on the afternoon doing one of these blackjack drafts. So if you don't know about this, we did this all the time when we were on the morning show. New audience all the time here. If you're if you like to fire, like on betting on sports, if you like to play blackjack, if you like to really fire with slots, whatever it is, Circa has to be in your rotation if you're unaware of this, because they reach out to some of their biggest players throughout the year, and you will get invited to play in a blackjack tournament. And at the end of 3 days, there's a draft, and they do this for college basketball. They've done it for baseball post All-Star break. They do it for the NFL every single year. Every single person, then based on where they finish in the blackjack tournament, you will get a ticket on a team for a lot of money to place on one team to win the national title. We just finished rounds 2 and 3 right before the show. Jonathan Von Tobel is currently in 3rd place. That ticket is a $12,500 bet on any team that he wants if they're not taking first 2.
And not a good blackjack player.
Oh, I want to punch him in the face.
I know.
So I'd actually be in 3rd right now.
I played with him before. Just doesn't know basic strategy. But God bless him. You know, he had that ticket on Houston in the baseball and almost got there. And here he is, number 3. You're right. This is a big ticket. And I know a lot of these guys bet 10, 15, 20,000 a hand in blackjack, but there were 3 no-shows too.
How about that?
This is 20,000 up top. Just you could say, okay, give me 20,000 on Auburn plus 350. Let's go.
There you go.
I have the number 1 pick, or I could step out and maybe take someone else, or Alabama or Florida or somebody like that. So what are you thinking here? You got one round left. You're in 5th.
Right. I was in 3rd going into that round. In 5th right now. Stormy Bonatomi is in 8th. So currently, in theory, she would get like a team in the top 2 seed line. Here's why I want to punch JVT. The last hand, he has a 13 versus a 6. I'm sitting there with a 15. The good doctor himself, Stephen Gephardt, he's sitting there with a 14. Clearly, and JVT has like 2,500 out. I think I had it 1,200 on the table. JVT says, hit me. And he pulls an 8. Of course, the dealer gets like a 19, so the doctor and I go bust. Otherwise, I'd be sitting in 3rd place ahead of him by a couple $100. God. But the wheels are in motion here.
Right. All right. Yeah. Atlanta Falcons?
There's one team that popped into my brain today. I'm like,
yeah,
maybe I consider them again. Long odds.
You never know, though, because you don't know what's going to happen at the top, and there always could be a surprise. Maybe the guy's a fan of a particular university.
Of course.
And they go in that direction. It's all the rage. It's all the talk. Everyone's talking about it throughout the world. Everything free here at VSiN with Championship Week. Get it free. Perfect example, Zach Cohen last night. Bam! Brunson gets hurt. He points it out. 2.5. Get on the Clippers right now. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, and all the prop analyzers, everything up there. VSiN.com/championship week.
There is an angle that's 11-0 since last year's tournament. Find out which one it is next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
You know, Pauly, sometimes these conference tournaments can take on a life of their own. Meaning, like the cold shooting is almost like contagious or vice versa. And then one team is down by 8 with a minute 10 left. They decide to foul. Then the same thing happens in the next game, and they might go over. The Missouri Valley. So there's a game going on right now. Belmont is on top of Illinois State 33-14. They're blowing them out. We have below 4 minutes to play in the first half. Earlier today, Drake, another impressive win. They pounded Southern Illinois 70-53. That game stayed under. So at vsin.com, Steve Makinen, with the trends for all these conference tournaments, I will just point this out. You can go overall. I'm going to go when totals in this conference are 131.5 or higher. Entering this year, the under was 39-21, 65% going back the last 10 years. That angle was 2-1 yesterday. And this Illinois State Belmont game had a total in the 150s. Murray State Bradley coming up later tonight has a total of around 134. Actually, now money on the under there, 132. That still qualifies. And the market agrees with it being a little bit too high. Valpo, Northern Iowa total is around 138.5 tonight.
Yeah, and I'm surprised how high that point spread is. Valpo got them earlier in the season. So it's been this way for years. Every single game of the tournament has stayed under. And with this one trending under as well, if that continues, it'd be 5-1 to the under so far in the Valley with the unders.
And the updated total right now in play, again, a few minutes to go before halftime, is 141.5. So this game is trending to go under by a good dozen points in that matchup.
Yep.
Did you bet any of these games in the Missouri Valley?
Yeah, I took a little Illinois State. They were popular, getting buried there. I took the points with Valpo as well. And a lot of people like Bradley. There's some good stuff up on the website, too, making the case for Bradley in the 4 o'clock Pacific game. As you mentioned, with the win, Drake is now 28-3. The Illinois State head coach the other day said it's a complete travesty and joke if they don't get in.
Good for him.
So good. Yes, working hard for him. And they win tomorrow. I think it's hard to deny them. At that point, they'd be 29-3 going to the title game. And we'll see if they play Bradley.
We do have 2 games coming up tonight in the Summit League. A lot of Dakotas here, right?
Isn't this something? It's going to be a madhouse.
Well, what do you mean?
South Dakota, North Dakota, North Dakota, South Dakota playing each other. Yeah, sure. It's a dream matchup for that right there.
Sure it is. So here's,
for them.
Yeah, the angle on this is going back to last year when all 8 games of the Summit League stayed under the total. It's now 11-0 when you include the games up to last night. 3-0 so far with the totals going under in this tournament. The South Dakota-North Dakota State game has a total of 166.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to confuse people here in the audience, but Greg Peterson has a write-up on that game, and he likes the game to go over, actually, tonight at vsin.com. And the analysis just points out that defenses here are like really bad, and shooting is really good. And this is a league, again, I know we've talked about the Summit League probably more than your average show across the country by a mile, because it's wildly entertaining during the regular season and they play a lot of high-scoring games. In fact, when we do top 5, bottom 5 every single week, it was like littered with 4 or 5 teams in this league as the best team to the over until like recently.
Yeah.
But you have this thing, again, where we talked about, like, it can just, that's kind of bizarre. They were so good the entire year at playing super high-scoring games. Then you have the market obviously try to catch up, and the numbers get so high that, okay, now we're playing a bunch of unders. So I guess bizarre is the wrong word, but naturally when numbers get too high and out of range, then, the games actually go that direction.
His write-up makes sense because North Dakota State, 41% from 3 on the road, and number 2 in the conference. And South Dakota's horrendous defending the 3, and they're bad on defense as well. So the other thing I'm surprised how short the line is. It's not as bad as, it reeked with the Omaha game, where Omaha had blown out Kansas City twice, opened 1, closed 5, blew them out again. But here they swept them during the regular season. The game on the road was 103-77, yet they're a 2-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So get me to the window with an alias, North Dakota State, right? That's why I think that's the way to go in the first game. And in the second game, Hoops making the case that North Dakota's horrendous offensively, and the Jackrabbits laying 8. This one, I think, first game over, maybe second game under, because it just maybe could be a blowout and South Dakota State takes them apart. Is that how you see it?
Sure.
Okay.
What else do you have your eyes on today?
I got a Omaha part 2. Portland beat Pepperdine by 20 in both games. They're only 1.5 tonight. So I played Portland. Adam Burke's on it as well. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like that. And also took the Clippers, but that's NBA. And I'm riding VCU. Again, they're on a 15-1 run. Most of the wins are blowouts, and they've been a covering machine. Valpo's catching too much, and this Boise line's getting out of control as well.
Huge I would agree with that.
Huge game on TV tonight.
Yeah.
Boise State against Colorado State, and we just told you last 4 in and last 4 out. Boise State, they've been impressive. They blew out Utah State at home. They also had the win against New Mexico. This got up to 6.5, and now some buyback on the Rams, who are playing well. But this is too many points, and I also think New Mexico's laying too much against UNLV.
Well, I definitely like the first one. The second one, I can probably get there as well. But I missed that in terms of grabbing the 6.5 with Colorado State. If it somehow goes back there before tip-off, I'm going to have to grab some of that. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. I think that's too high. Boise State's awesome at home. We all know this. You said Lenardi has them in one of the last 4 teams in. So that would be, 4 teams out of the Mountain West?
Uh-huh.
So they're obviously very good. But Colorado State catching that many points, also a solid team with a really, really good head coach. I think I'd have to take that many points. And now you're talking about 2+ possessions overall. That's a lot.
Colorado State led by 17 in the first meeting.
Crazy.
So that's a lot of respect for Boise, even though they're playing their best ball at the right time. And I don't know what to do with schizophrenic Illinois. Should they be 4.5 against Purdue? They have been a different team at home.
Well, how much of a break did we give Illinois for that month-long stretch where guys were out? I think you got to give them a huge break. I think you just got to wipe out.
A lot of blowouts, though, Mitch. I mean, it couldn't compete in some.
Well,
of those
they were
games,
down 5 guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's and a lot of really good players on that team. So, you know what? I kind of trust Humans on this one because he has the pulse of the Big Ten. He went to Purdue, especially. And he said last night on VSiN Primetime following us that Purdue traditionally has done pretty well when they go to Illinois. So that'd be enough for me to stay off of the Illini.
Yep.
I'll give you this. In the Ohio Valley, trends now tell you that teams that have like buys into the semifinals, like Southeast Missouri State and SIU Edwardsville do, they've been very, very good. 20-4 straight up, 15-9 ATS going back in the Ohio Valley. However, when you dig a little bit deeper, you realize that Arkansas Little Rock is a good basketball team, and like the the people who do this for a living, like Ken Palm and Bart Torvik, and they share their numbers, they're high on Tennessee State. Reading Adam Burke's website at vsin.com, I wanted to go with maybe both favorites here, but I was talked out of both of them, actually.
And Edwardsville's a nice story. Yeah, I think Barone Sanitation's their head coach. He took over. They hadn't won he took over in 2019. Never had a winning record in Division I play. And then here they are with a chance to go to the big dance, although probably a 16 seed. But that's a great story. But you're right that the history going back here, and even though they have the buys, they're small favorites here. In this one, Ken Palm has it the 28th ranked conference. So that's what you're looking at this. Why you're going to probably get a 16, whoever wins this with the championship Saturday night.
I'll give you one of Greg Peterson's plays on vsin.com today. It's Charleston Southern against NC Asheville. He likes Asheville in the game. The reason why, they rank 68th in the country in points per possession on offense. Charleston, they are 313th in points per possession allowed. Plus, Southern struggles to maintain clean offense, as Greg Hoops Peterson points out. They are 320th in turnovers per possession. So he made the line, actually. His handicap is Asheville 8.5 in this game. He bet it at 5.5.
It was very good last night.
Yeah.
The numbers were correct.
Sure.
So that's good. Some of these numbers are surprising, though. I still can't get over the Omaha thing. 4-point move. That opens one. And they swept them and took them out again. Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions approved. Earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet. Promo code FTM. Deposit 25 and Edge Boost will match it. Make money daily. Put money back in your pocket. Card never declined. Edgeboost.bet. No more waiting on the wire or the outrageous fees when you go over your ATM limit as well. Edgeboost.bet. Promo code FTM.
I tell you about that last time I was stuck like that without having an Edge Boost to me before this even existed or we knew it did. Trying to use the ATM at a casino here in town and wouldn't let me, and it automatically tried to wire me the money. The fee was $59. That's extortion.
The big boy.
That's horrible.
It's going to a gentleman's club.
That's why Edge Boost is so great.
Yep.
Thomas Gable on the program next, in charge of the Borgata Sportsbook in AC. We'll ask him about a bet or two that he likes tonight, and what does he make some of the marquee matchups on Saturday in college basketball. That's next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Super heavy, obviously, today with college basketball, and we head across the country now as Thomas Gable pops on the program. He is the race and sportsbook director over at the Borgata in Atlantic City, and he is on the Progressive Guest line. Good afternoon, Thomas. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well, guys. Doing well. It's a nice day whenever you can get daytime basketball on the East Coast. So we're enjoying it, and it only gets better from here.
How has the handle been so far for these smaller conferences that people, for the most part, don't pay attention into until right around this time of year?
It's been decent. I mean, I know probably for, as you said, most people don't pay attention to, the SoCon and Missouri Valley and so forth, but we've taken some decent handle on these games, and obviously next week it just grows exponentially with the power conferences getting underway. But yeah, I mean, even the smaller conference tournaments, it's good, and especially when you get into the semifinals and finals, the casual bettor does start to get involved a little bit in those smaller conferences, at least in this market here. Once you get into the semifinals and the finals.
Monday and Tuesday are great, and it's always been that way with 3, 4, 5 bids going out, and then the semis of the West Coast as well. I caught your appearance last week on the morning show on By the Books. VCU in action again. They've won 15 of 16. They've been an ATS machine. Are you going to lay it with VCU tonight at home against Dayton?
Love them, and I already did 8.5 this morning, and now you can find them 10. So I talked a little bit about them again this morning, and now they have Dayton here, and just everything that Ryan Odom has done this year has been tremendous. Great defensive squad, top 25 nationally. Now, what I will say, I don't think this is necessarily the conference tournament, the Atlantic 10 conference tournament is not going to be a cakewalk for them. This is a pretty good conference overall. They have some teams I think could potentially come in there and be a bid stealer. George Mason, St. Joe's, and even their opponent here, Dayton. I know at one point I had Dayton only power rated 1 point apart from VCU. That was probably back in mid-December, end of December. Since that time, Dayton has fallen off slightly, and VCU has obviously gotten better and stronger. So, Dayton, they do have a above average offense, pretty average defense. They're going to have to be hitting their threes, though, to be able to stay up here with VCU. And I saw an interesting stat on Max Shulga, who's the senior guard for VCU. VCU outscores opponents by 25 points more per 100 possessions when he is on the floor compared to when he's not. That's just an incredible stat for him, and the difference he makes for that squad. So, I mean, again, for the Rams, they're a team that I have power rated. They can absolutely play with the big boys in college basketball. I would not be surprised in the least bit if they could get into the Sweet 16. And I know you said you kind of gave them a comparison to a St. Mary's. I have probably VCU about a half point better than St. Mary's right now.
Ooh,
okay.
Excellent. Good breakdown as well. Let's go out here down the street, Orleans Arena, West Coast Conference. How about what'd you make Portland? They swept Pepperdine and beat them by 20 in both meetings. They're laying 1.5 tonight.
Yeah, I made this too. So be no play for me on this one. I think the number's probably right around where it should be there. And as you said, just coming off, I mean, they just beat Pepperdine by 20 there at the end of February. So, not a great defensive squad in the least bit by Portland. But, of course, Pepperdine has plenty of issues on their own. The later game there for the West Coast Conference, San Diego and Loyola Marymount actually made that 9.5. Loyola Marymount 9.5, and was able to lay 7.5 this morning with them. And San Diego's just one of those poor teams that's out there. And while you still can play against the poor teams in these conference tournaments, you have to take advantage of that and do it.
And by the way, Pepperdine now here at Circa Pick'em. Some money coming in on the waves against the Pilots in that game. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Thomas Gable, our guest. He is the man in charge of the race and sportsbook at the Borgata in Atlantic City. How about in the Summit League tonight? Did you think that the number here between North Dakota State and South Dakota was maybe a little bit too short?
Absolutely. I laid 2.5 this morning, and I make that game 5.5. I was jumped on North Dakota State there, and we actually in that one we've actually seen the total rise in that one, up 2 points from the opener. So, and North Dakota State, one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the country, 39.6%. Third in college basketball, number threes per game. They're averaging about 12 per game. So between the shooting of North Dakota State and then the pace that South Dakota plays at, it's not surprising that the total has gone up. So South Dakota loves to get out and run and convert for fast break opportunities. And these two teams combined for a total of 180 in the first meeting. And then looks like about 160 a week and a half ago. So North Dakota State hung on for a 4-point victory in that one. But, yeah, I definitely like North Dakota State laying at 2.5 this morning.
All right, what else do you have your eyes on tonight? Is there anything on the Friday card?
This Purdue-Illinois game, it's interesting. We've been taking a lot of Purdue money already today. There hasn't been much movement there. It's been all recreational money coming in there, taking the 4.5 with Purdue on the road. Illinois has been the thing that concerns me about Illinois, this was a team that I really liked, and then I know they dealt with a lot of injuries and even some illnesses there throughout the season, but that game against Duke, for whatever reason, obviously Duke is, one of, if not the best team in all of college basketball. I just did not like the effort that Illinois played with. It almost felt like they quit in that game, and it kind of turned me off to them and any shot that I thought that they may have to make some noise in March. They just obviously had the doors blown off, but it just seemed like they gave up in that one. So that's been a team that I just have kind of written off ever since that game.
Very good. Okay, so speaking of the Blue Devils, they play tomorrow against North Carolina on the road. Carolina playing much better basketball over the last 6-8 games or so. They open up 12.5. I'm looking on the screen right now. I see 10.5. Where did you make the number?
Yeah, I made it 12. Obviously, it's moving down there, and Tar Heels money doing that. But it's tough. It's tough to get in front of Duke. We have players who just blindly bet Duke no matter what the number is at this point, week after week, and they've been cashing every time. It's so strong right now. I literally I make them 1.5 better than Auburn at this point, and I have them power rated the highest in the country. So it's hard to argue with what they've done. Yes, it's been a down year for the ACC. So you can certainly take that into account, but this Blue Devil squad has just been a wrecking ball lately, and I don't know. There's no way I would take any points there with North Carolina.
No, you won't? Okay, all right. Who do you have third? Is it Florida? If so, how many points are they behind Duke?
No, I actually have Houston third. I've loved this Houston team for years, and I think this is probably Kelvin Sampson's best shot at a national title, honestly, even from years past. I think they're just better offensively than they've been in previous years. Yes, obviously Jamal Shedd's gone and into the NBA, but they shoot the ball better from three this year. And Florida, listen, Florida's certainly right up there. There's not really many weaknesses when you look at that team overall. Maybe a little bit in their foul shooting is a little bit lacking. They're just over 71% from the line, and certainly come March and tournament time, foul shooting is something you definitely need to look at. And when you're playing close games, it could cost you. But that would be the only thing that I could even come close to saying is something that's a little bit off with Florida. They're just tremendous front court, back court, and everywhere in between.
All right, Thomas. Pleasure talking to you as always. It's the best time of year. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys. Good luck this weekend.
Back at you. There you go, Thomas Gable, race and sportsbook director at the Borgata in Atlantic City. He is awesome with the college hoops. Yeah, that North Dakota State, South Dakota game now is touching 4.5. Was what, 2.5 earlier today?
Yep.
Yeah, he made it 5.5.
Got a game in overtime here. Big South. Radford's up 1, 50 seconds left. They were laying 4. Belmont's pounding Illinois State 41-18 halftime.
Does that game die a slow death?
I think
it has super high total. They have 59 points combined right now. Are we going to have a sudden explosion late? Win some, lose some next, including something that went 9-0 last night. Pauly, details next.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Bulls down a couple starters, plus 270. Went on the road and beat Reeling Orlando in the over 219 up to 223. Correct. 125, 123 Chicago. College hoops, Oakland plus 270. A no-show by Milwaukee. Valpo plus 180. Old Dominion plus 240. Omaha from 1 up to 5. The 1 seed in the Summit, they win and cover. NHL, here's what Mitch was talking about. Goal in the first 10 cashed in every single game. A perfect 9-0 last night. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. I put up a couple videos today at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Good stuff. Thanks to Luke. And this will be up probably later. How smart is this dog? Where they train the dog to close the door, and you see the cat sitting on top of the cage, right? So here it is. Oh, that's how you open it. Okay, piece of cake. Now the dog is gonna trap the cat, where he puts the toy in the cage, right? And then the cat sees it. The cat goes in the cage to get the toy. All right, he's in. He's in. Yeah, here comes the dog. Ah, you're trapped. And he shuts the door on him, and he locks him in with his mouth. Yeah. All right.
So I'm curious on this video. How long did it take this person to train the dog and the cat to do this? But I got to tell you, the video was worth it.
Yeah.
Right? This is not natural. I mean, the guy spent probably weeks making this happen, but that's incredible.
Yeah. Sit there and watch and look at it and see, oh, this is how it works? Okay. I slide it this way to open, and it locks it in. And then you're trapped if you go in, and then I get there. Okay, the cat's in. Okay, shut it with my nose. It's secure, and then I close it. You're locked. That's awesome. Excellent. How are they not extinct? How do they exist? And they go through life like they have a six. Oh, no, wrong.
Bullies?
Yeah,
I don't know either,
I love
yeah.
them. Oh, no, Panda. Look at this. I still love that. Again, that guy's the size of a linebacker. Look at the size of that guy. But Tammy sent this in. You got number 7? Where they go? It was a Panda compilation. It was so good. How about this news? If this happens, absolute win some. Rumors are Christopher Nolan will direct the next Bond movie.
Finally, a movie that we can get excited about, Pauly.
Oh, yeah. Now, we'd have a new Bond, obviously, how the last one ended. And then for Nolan to take, I love the last 3 of them. I can go back to your Casino Royale. But Daniel Craig was a controversial decision. It really kickstarted and gave a B-12 shot to the franchise. Pierce Brosnan was good, but some of the movies weren't that good. But
how many have you watched overall? I'm guessing there's been close
12?
to...
I'm going to say 12.
What do you have, like 20, 25 of them probably have been made?
Yeah. I think you're right with the guess.
I think my father-in-law has watched every single one of them multiple times.
Really?
Loves the Bond series.
Yeah, it's incredible. I know. Getting Nolan would be a game changer. Here they are. Go through life like they're high. Some edibles. Got a 6-pack in them. Look at the pandas. Here the guy's in the swing. Ass over tea. Kettle falls down, right? Remember the guy who was in the Regal Bear when he sneezed? Look at it. He's out here in the rain.
This is going to be a good one right here.
Right, yeah. Sitting in the rain. Here he is. He's jumping up trying to get in, climbing up on the door. It's like no rhyme or reason to what they're doing and how they behave. Acting like toddlers. And the guy was in the wheelbarrow and he sneezed and then fell over as well. Thanks to Tammy setting that in with the Panda compilation. Excellent. Lose some. Texas State from 3 up to 6.5. No good. Celtics Sixers under. 225.5 to 217. Doesn't matter who's out. Still goes over. Hawks Pacers. No Halliburton. 247 down to 240.5. Fell 242. Depends what number you got there.
I will not complain for the rest of the weekend based on how I won those first half bets. The Pacers team total over. Unbelievable. They scored, I think, 12 points in the final minute. They hit a 3 at the buzzer.
Come on.
I swear to God.
Wow.
To go over.
Excellent. Couple bad beats. Bucknell, Loyola, under 138. Bucknell struggled. They got the win in overtime. The Knicks, I had them vicious. Up 12 in the fourth quarter. They blow it and lose in overtime. And, of course, the Lakers cover in overtime. Brunson was awesome, but got hurt. And I don't know how Hart doesn't get a shot off there as well. And then condolences to Will Hill. And if you had him, 50-1. Queens was 50-1 to win the A-Sun. They were up 10 with under 10 minutes against Lipscomb. That was 4-1 on the money line. And then if you win that game, you're in the championship. And North Alabama is already in because Queens is ineligible. So North Alabama would have been in the tournament already. 50-1 shot. They were up 10 going this close to going to the championship.
How live
Sunday.
was that ticket?
Oh, God.
That's a brutal one for our buddy Will.
Yes. We wanted to see you all hang out, drink beer, shots, bet blackjack, ultimate follow the money experience. Hang out with us beyond the booth, vsin.com/beyond the booth. Get the VIP owner's box, cabana at Circa Swim. Spend the day, hang out, whether it's the Madness, Draft, NBA, NHL playoffs. The calendar's up there. Dates are limited. vsin.com/beyond the booth. Reserve your cabana today. Let's hang.
Have you messed around with this AI at all on Twitter or X called Grok?
No.
We got a tweet earlier today saying it's incredible. The person typed in, based on teamrankings.com and kenpom.com, who has the best chance to win the national title. So I copied the same thing, and I did it. Within 2 seconds, it spit out 3,000 words on why Duke, Auburn, there's another team, and UConn are
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So I screwed around right now. I put in, what's the best bet for tonight? Look at this. Look how long this write-up is.
Wow.
It says Bradley versus Murray State. Bradley -3.5 was a good one.
Okay.
When that number was available. But at the very bottom, it comes with a caveat. It says betting involves risk. And no guaranteed lock exists. That's exactly spot on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad they're actually pointing that out. I know Bill 80 in the newsletter was adding some stuff over the last couple of weeks, or even going back before then, by typing some stuff into chat GP, what is it called? Chat GPT, yeah. And like spitting out some stuff as well. It's kind of fun I'm not going to make bets based on that, but it's kind of fun just to see where the technology stands with all this stuff. So, Christmas Arrow's coming up top of the hour.
Radford just covered in overtime.
Did they really?
Isn't that something?
Well,
they were laying 4. They won by 5.
That's sick.
That's what the Lakers did. You never want the dog in overtime.
That will happen in the tournament, and people are going to lose their minds. Yeah. So this Illinois State-Belmont game is 50-31 right now. Belmont in front. They're minus 10,000 on the money line. The in-play number is 15.5. I took a little 134.5 on the under during the commercial break. It's currently sitting at 133.5. They have 81 combined, and we are now 13.5 minutes to go in the game. So they're going to have to score 50-plus to beat me in a 19-point blowout. Does Illinois State just put the clamps on here? They go full-court press? Do they...
No. Belmont takes the air out of the ball. The backups come in.
I would think
Belmont's got to play Drake tomorrow.
Sure, it would make sense here anyway, based on my bet. My logic thinking on this would be Belmont can now take it a little bit easy here. Yep. Go into the prevent offense. They can melt the clock if they would like. Hang on to that 19-point lead. Don't do anything crazy to allow Illinois State back into this game. And now we're back at 134.5 with the total. And North Carolina A&T and Hofstra just underway. Hofstra out to an 8-2 lead. They are 13.5-point favorites on the in-play. And coming up top of the hour, we have Western Carolina and Mercer. Greg Peterson has a play on that game at vsin.com. It is now free until Selection Sunday for everybody. Yeah. When you go there, go to vsin.com/champweek. You're going to get a daily best bet email. You want to talk about bets. A lot of them are on that email. Access to the exclusive betting splits. People love those. 24/7 video access, full access to the VSiN Watch app, and full vsin.com access as well. So you can go there and read Greg's analysis on the Western Carolina Mercer game for tonight and why he likes a bet in that game.
Were you able to get anything with the Blazers when the news came down?
No, it went to 2. It opened up like 2 everywhere.
Well, the wrong team's favored with all these guys out for the Thunder. And why would you play Holmgren as well? So there was 14.5, 15.5, and then bam,
right.
It all came down where all these guys are out. I mean, to me, Portland's got to be favored.
So still, you want to take him on the money line still?
Yeah. And they won 15-22, 10 seeds right there. Absolutely.
Where are you sitting right now with the Knicks Clippers tonight? Because I know you bet it on the overnight.
So, 4. I got 4. No Brunson, and now up to 7.5. And you're going to get everyone ready to go with the Clippers, too. So just a horrific spot, right? Back-to-back overtime, star player hurt. Why would you play Cat? Maybe other guys sit, too.
No, maybe.
But it's a hell of a performance. They blew that game. And Luke and LeBron made all the plays down the stretch. And then Vincent, there it is again, right? What'd I tell you? These are NBA pros. I mean, these are wide-open looks they're going to get now because of Luka.
Yep.
And Vincent knocked them down and made the big one to put them up 3. Reeves was terrible to start.
Again, nothing's a lock. Going back to what we just said, Clippers just sat everybody almost against the Pistons, and they won the game. Harden went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Better, Chris Massero on the program coming up next. We'll get his best bets for tonight and this weekend here on VSiN.